I take one more spring, one more dashpot, one more mass, M2, call this as K1, call this as B1, call this as K2, call this as B2, call this as X, call this as Y motion, and the force is acting here. So what this problem corresponds to? It's a 2 degree of freedom problem, spring mass dashpot problem. Why 2 degree of freedom? Because I got 2 degrees or 2 degrees of freedom of motion, X and Y, 2 coordinates. I can even have X1 and X2. I can have any nomenclature for that matter. So it corresponds to freedom of motion. Degree of freedom corresponds to freedom of motion. So I got 2 coordinates. Let us try to understand the solution for this by using grounded chair representation. Now the question asked would be, find the relationship between F and X, F and Y, and X and Y. If these are the questions, those are posed by using my conventional equilibrium method and writing the differential equations is bit complicated. It's not impossible, it is possible, but it's bit complicated. So instead of that, I use grounded chair representation for the same. Now just think and tell me, what is the first step? Ground line at the bottom. Next step, draw the lines parallel to this ground line. How many lines I need to draw? Corresponding to degree of freedom. How many degrees of freedom are there in this problem? X and Y, 2 degrees of freedom, or 2 displacements. So I draw 2 lines. Now which one should be X and which one should be Y? How it is going to be decided? It was our step 3. The coordinate at which force acts should be at the top. Now where the force is acting? The force is acting on coordinate Y. So force F, coordinate is Y, should be at the top, and remaining is X. What is the next step? Insert the components or elements in between the coordinates. Now between X and ground, what are the components? Spring K1 and damper B1. Damper B1. Now what is there? Between X and ground, M1 is also there. Inertia force is always between the coordinate and ground. So there is M1. So all the 3 components between ground and X, those are inserted. Don't treat this between X and Y. This is between X and ground. Anyway, mass or inertia is always with respect to ground. Okay. Now, between X and Y, what are the components between X and Y? What are the components? Spring K2 and damper B2. And apart from that, this M2 is between Y and M, or inertia force is always with respect to ground. What I need to do then? I need to draw mass which is between Y and ground, of course. So what I do? I bring a line from Y, call this as M2, because inertia force because of M1 is between coordinate and ground. Inertia force for M2 also will be between Y and ground. The inertia force is always with respect to ground. So I need to bring the mass wherever it is maybe it is at z coordinate. I need to, if I am writing inertia force, I need to bring that mass nearer to ground. Okay. Okay. Now this is our grounded chair representation. Okay. Just to avoid confusion, what I do is I write x and y on left hand side. This is my x. This is my y. Y was the force coordinate. Yeah, y. Okay. Now, what is the next step? Final step was the write equations. Now, while writing the equation, what we do is overall, just by taking a pencil on your notebook, don't use pen because this figure will appear crooked. Just use a pencil, draw a thin circle and call the equivalent mechanical impedance of this system as Z. And what is the final equation for this? F is equal to overall equivalent impedance into that coordinate corresponding to that overall impedance. It is Y. Now, how to find out this overall mechanical impedance Z? Now just observe here, spring K2 and damper B2 are sharing same displacement Y. So K2 and B2 are in series because they are sharing same displacement. Similarly, K1, B1 and M1 are sharing same displacement X, isn't it? So these are same displacement X. So these, all the three components are in series. M1 is experiencing X, B1 is experiencing X and K1 is experiencing X, isn't it? And M2 is between Y and ground. So that is independent. Okay. Now, let us do one more thing. We'll keep this M2 apart, and what I do is draw these lines very, very carefully. I draw a line isolating M2. I call this as Z1. Okay, this is the entire thing is Z1. Z1 and M2 are in series. I repeat, Z1 and M2 are in series. Why? Because Z1 is experiencing displacement Y and M2 is also experiencing displacement Y, isn't it? So Z is a series combination of Z1 and M2 d square. Inertia force, how did we write? If you just recollect, m d square x, isn't it? So m into acceleration. So it was the second derivative of x. So it was x or y, whatever is the displacement, we have to use that. So m2 d square is the impedance for mass m2. Now, what is Z1? Z1, what I do is, I'll just add two more nomenclatures here. Z1 is there. Now what I do is, I'll just circle this, call this as Z2, and I'll just circle this and call this as Z3. Now, how Z2 and Z3 are related? Z2 is experiencing displacement Y and Z3 is experiencing displacement X. So both Z2 and Z3 are experiencing different displacements. When the displacements are different, what is the outcome? We call these elements as parallel elements. So the rule says, if the elements are sharing same displacement, they are called as elements in series. If the elements are experiencing different displacements, we call them as elements in parallel. Now Z2 and Z3 are in parallel. So how about Z1? Z1 is entire thing. Z1 is a parallel combination of Z2 and Z3. So how do I write the equation? Parallel combination 1 upon Z1 is equal to, because parallel combination, 1 upon Z1 is equal to 1 upon Z2 plus 1 upon Z3. upon Z2 plus 1 upon Z3. Please be attentive. Z2 plus 1 upon Z3. How about Z2 now? Z2 is a series combination of K2 and B2. Why this is a series combination, friends? Because both of them are experiencing same displacement Y. How about these three? K1, B1 and M1 are experiencing the same displacement X. So these are also in series. So Z2 is a series combination. So Z2 is equal to K2 plus B2D, and Z3 is K1 plus B1D plus M1 D square is Z3. So let us substitute it here. So 1 upon Z1 is equal to 1 upon Z2, that is K2 plus B2D plus Z3 is 1 upon, I'll just write it in descending order of powers, B1D plus K1. That will become M1D square plus B1D plus K1 plus K2 plus B2D divided by product of these two. K2 plus B2D into M1D square plus B1D plus K1. This is 1 upon Z2, sorry. Yes, 1 upon, 1 upon Z1. Okay, so Z1, this I invert this. Z1 will be equal to K2 plus B2D into M1D square plus B1D plus K1 divided by M1D square plus B1D plus K1 into bracket K2 plus B2. Is it clear now? So Z1 I have got. Now Z1, if I put it here, I get Z. Z will be equal to this Z1, this Z1. So this entire bracket I put here. Just to reduce the complication, I am not writing it. The entire thing I keep it here as Z1 plus M2 D square. So this entire thing plus M2 D square is Z. Now if I substitute this Z value here, I get relationship between F and Y. This is one of the questions that is asked. Now, how to get relationship between F and X? Now if you remember, in parallel elements, what is the rule for parallel elements? Parallel elements have different displacements, but the force experienced by parallel elements is same. So the same force acts at Y, the same force acts at X as well, isn't it? So what will be the relationship for X? The same F will be transmitted here. F will be Z3 into X. So F will be the same F acting here. So F will be this Z3 into X. Okay. Now, if I substitute what is Z3? Z3 just now we had found out, isn't it? I think I have removed it. This Z3 was nothing but, what was Z3? K1 plus B1D plus M1 D square. So that was equal to K1 plus B1D plus M1 D square into X. This is my F. Right? So I get relationship between f and x. This equation gave me relationship between f and y. This was 1. This is my equation number 2. The second answer also I got relationship between f and y, relationship between f and x. Now the third question was the relationship between x and y. Now if I equate equation number 1 and 2, because f is same for both the equations, so I can equate this. Once I equate these two equations, f will be eliminated and I will be getting equating 1 and 2. What we get is relationship between y and x. So whatever is z into y is equal to this z3 into x. So I know what is z3, I know what is z. I substitute and I get relationship between y and x. Y and x is y by x is z3 by z. So whatever are the values we just now found out, I can substitute it and I get relationship between y and x. So this is how I can solve the complicated equations by using grounded chair representation. So this is nothing but the transfer function. If I just converted all these d terms into s terms and call y of s, x of s, that will be the Laplace transform transfer function of a given problem, isn't it? So relationship between f and x, this also f of s upon x of s upon f of s will be the transfer function for x coordinate, isn't it? So it will be equal to 1 upon z3. Whatever is the z3 value, we had found out that I can substitute and I can get the transfer function as per my requirement. Okay friends, I think you must have understood the concept thoroughly now. Just to make the concept more clearer, I will take up one more small problem just to clarify the concept. Okay, so instead of this spring mass and dashpot hung upwards, support is upwards, support is downwards, what I do is I draw this is the rail bogie example. If you remember, what I am doing is I am putting this spring like this, putting this damper like this, and this is mass M, subjected to F, and because of that X is there, I got K B. This is frictionless, there is no damping here, right? So this is one more problem. Obtain the transfer function is the question. Obtain transfer function x by f. So what I do, once again, grounded chair representation. So I can have single mass, 2 masses, 3 masses, doesn't make any difference. While using this grounded chair representation method, there is no problem. Whatever are the number of components, whether they are arranged in series or parallel, our methodology simplifies the problem to greater extent. Now what I said, what is the first step? Draw. Whosoever is the ground appearing in the problem, I draw the ground at the bottom. What I do next? What is the degree of freedom? So how many coordinates are defining the motion? Here only one coordinate is defining the motion. So only one line parallel to this. Now the third step is the coordinate at which force acts should be at the top. Now at what coordinate force is acting? At x coordinate. It will be at the top. As I told you, the arrow can be upwards, downwards, doesn't go, because those just show what should be treated as positive direction. Okay. So what I have done, coordinate at which force acts is at the top. Now next step was insert the components or elements in between the coordinate and ground. Between x and ground, what are the components? One is k, another is b. Isn't it? Very simple. Representation can be converted into grounded chair representation. Isn't it? So what I do next? Just couple this, call this as equivalent impedance. Z, equivalent mechanical impedance, and the first equation that I write is F is equal to Z into X, equivalent impedance into that coordinate. So what is this equivalent impedance Z? Just observe here. K and B are experiencing same displacement x. So these are in series. So Z is equal to K plus BD. I substitute it here. F is equal to K plus BD. Sorry, mass is remaining. I have just forgotten to draw the mass. So I'll just put mass M in between. Sorry. Mass M is between X and ground. Okay. So there are three elements: spring, mass, and dashpot, having stiffness K, mass M, and damping coefficient B. All these three are in series. Why? Because all the three are experiencing same displacement x. Okay, so this is Z. Find F is equal to Zx. What is Z? Z is equal to, I'll just write it in descending order of powers: mass md square, damper bd, and spring stiffness K is my Z. Okay, and when I substitute it here, what I get? F is equal to md square plus bd plus K. This is Z into x. Now to get the transfer function x upon f, you just take it here. X upon f is equal to 1 upon md square plus bd plus K. Isn't it simple? If in Laplace transform terms, x of s upon f of s is converted time domain into Laplacian domain. What another change I need to do? I have to put d is equal to s. So I got 1 upon, instead of md square, what I do? ms square, of course considering zero initial conditions, plus bs plus k. This is in Laplace transform term. This is my transfer function. And what is the differential equation if one asks? What I do is just solve this. F is a differential equation. F is equal to, instead of d, what I do? d2x by dt square. I just simplify this. M into d2 of x by dt square plus d is d by dt, b into dx by dt plus kx. This is my differential equation of operation for this mechanical system. I think you can solve, friends, more number of problems given in a Raven book, which I already put on the Google Classroom. If you want, we have got number of Xerox copies of F.H. Raven's book on automatic control engineering in our library. You can just collect it from library. I put the soft copy as well. You can refer that, try to solve more variety of problems based on grounded chair representation. I hope that this approach of grounded chair representation will make the problem solving related to translational mechanical systems simpler. Thank you for watching.